Welcome back to another episode of ScoutAbout Gear. I'm Lewis. So this episode is about sleeping bag liners, why I really value them and why they're really useful, and just a couple of different ones to show you. So I'll start off with the sleeping bag liner I first got. It's a polyester and cotton one. You can get ones that are fully cotton, get ones that are fully polyester. Generally a mixture is pretty good. Reason why is polyester is good for moisture. Cotton's a bit more comfortable next to the skin. So if you've got a couple of them, it's quite good. So really they go into quite a small container. Generally darker colour's good, just because if they don't get dirt and things on them. Generally for sleeping bags they're pretty good. They open up like that. They have like a top section which goes inside the mummy bit of the bag if it's a mummy bag. You can get them in square shapes as well, or pod shapes if you have that kind of bag. You can almost see through them. I don't know if you can see that, but they're quite thin, quite comfortable. Obviously a section for your feet at the bottom. What I would say about the sleeping bag liners is that they're great for hygiene. So if you're going away for quite a time, if it starts to get musty or smelly in your sleeping bag, the liner's a lot easier to wash. Even if you're coming back home from a camp and you're outside, your sleeping bag's clean and dry. I obviously do wash my sleeping bag, but more often than not, if I've used a liner in, the liner's the thing that'll get washed more of the time, because it doesn't wear out your sleeping bag as much. It's a lot smaller, a lot easier to clean, a lot easier to dry as well. The good thing about sleeping bag liner is as well, if you put it inside another sleeping bag, it adds a layer of warmth, whether that's a small layer or not. It means there's less parts of what if you're wearing things or anything to catch on the sleeping bag. Even could be your feet catching the bottom. It'll make it last longer, and it adds, like I said, it adds warmth. You can get fleece ones, which are quite thick and quite big, about that big. They add a lot of warmth, but obviously take up a lot more space. So really, there's pros and cons of using a fleece one or one like this. I've more recently decided to get a silk one. Silk ones are a lot more expensive because silk in general is just expensive. I really liked having sleeping bag liner in general, so I decided to get a silk one. As you can tell, it's almost the same colour, but it does pack down a bit smaller. For me, I find the silk a lot comfier. It's a lot cooler as well in hot nights. One thing I would say about sleeping bag liners is if you're somewhere really hot, or if you're somewhere indoors where it's warm and you don't need a full sleeping bag, but you just don't want to sleep on a mattress or on a sheet. Maybe if you want a bit of privacy, if you happen to be next to someone else or anything like that, sleeping bag liners are great just as a really, really hot weather sleeping bag. Obviously they provide just a bit of privacy and a little bit of layer to keep some warmth in. Very similar. So yeah, I definitely recommend a sleeping bag liner. There's different shapes and sizes, like I said. Generally, if it's a first time trying one, I'd probably recommend like a cotton one or a polyester one. Cotton does take a bit longer to dry, but it does wick. Generally darker colour is better, but you get preference of what you want. But generally sleeping bag liner is a really good investment. It can range anywhere from sort of £15. The silk ones can go up to like 30, 40 plus. You can spend a lot of money on them, but just a really good solid sleeping bag liner is a great investment, and it'll be good for camping and all sorts of expeditions and things. So again, thanks for watching. I hope that's been of some use. If you have any more questions about sleeping bag liners, please comment below. Like and subscribe for more videos. I'll get more out as soon as I can. Like I said, any suggestions I'll do. But that was just a quick bit of info for people who maybe haven't seen sleeping bag liners, or don't know the real benefits of them.